Hey man, you ever stop and think about Robert Downey Jr.? His story is like something straight out of a movie. Ups, downs, comebacks, redemption, the whole package. He's one of those actors that's impossible to ignore. Not just because he's talented, but because his life has been so intense and inspiring. Let me break it down for you. So Robert Downey Jr. was born on April 4th, 1965, in Manhattan, New York. Acting was kind of in his blood. His dad, Robert Downey Sr., was a filmmaker and actor, so little RDJ grew up around the business. He had his first acting role when he was like 5, in one of his dad's films. You could tell early on that this kid had something special, but his childhood wasn't exactly normal. His dad was part of the underground film scene and pretty into drugs, and yeah, he let young Robert try weed when he was like 6. Wild, right? That environment, while creative, definitely planted some seeds for the struggles he'd face later on. Even though he had charisma, confidence, and creativity from the start, he was also surrounded by chaos. That kind of upbringing stays with you. In the 80s, Downey started getting small parts in movies, and by the time the mid-80s rolled around, he was becoming known as one of the Brat Pack. You've got movies like Weird Science and Less Than Zero, where he played a drug-addicted rich kid, which unfortunately kind of mirrored his real life. That movie was almost like a mirror to what was happening behind the scenes for him. But man, even then, you could see the charisma pouring off him. Then in the early 90s, things really started heating up. He got cast as Charlie Chaplin in the movie Chaplin, 1992, and he crushed it. Like, absolutely nailed the performance. He had the voice, the physical comedy, the emotion, all of it. He trained for months to get every little movement right. The role earned him his first Oscar nomination, and people started seeing him not just as a promising young star, but as one of the greats. That should have been the moment everything changed for the better. And for a little while, it looked like it would be. But life had other plans. Through the 90s and early 2000s, Downey's career was like a roller coaster. His substance abuse spiraled out of control. He got arrested multiple times, spent time in rehab, even went to jail. There was this one point where he got caught driving around with heroin, cocaine, and a pistol while in his pajamas. It was bad, really bad. There were stories about how he'd show up on set completely out of it. He was still insanely talented, but people didn't know if they could rely on him. He became kind of uninsurable in Hollywood. Studios didn't want to take a risk on him, even though everyone knew how gifted he was. It was heartbreaking. He'd land a role, do great work, then fall off the wagon again. One of the few people who took a chance on him was David E. Kelley, who brought him onto the TV show Ally McBeal. He joined the cast and even won a Golden Globe, but then he got arrested again and was written off the show. It felt like one step forward, two steps back. At one point, it really did seem like that was it, that he was done. But Downey, he wasn't done yet, not even close. In the mid-2000s, things started to change. He got clean, really clean, and not just for a few months. He put in the work. He credits a mix of therapy, martial arts, meditation, spirituality, and a huge support system. And let's not forget his wife, Susan. She met him on the set of Gothica, and she told him she wouldn't marry him unless he got sober.
Not for me.
She laid down the law and he listened.
I can make a
She's been
choice. I can
massive
fight
part
for
of
what's
his
right.
recovery and comeback. Slowly but surely, he
Tell me,
started
Rhodey, if you
rebuilding
were
his
me, would you
career.
sit on the
He took
sidelines?
smaller roles, worked
Could you
hard,
live with yourself if
stayed
you did?
clean, and proved to people that he could be trusted
I know
again.
you.
And then came the game changer, Iron Man, 2008. RDJ
That's
was the
right. You do
perfect
something
Tony
about it,
Stark.
too.
It's
And
not
he was
up
right. Holy
to
hell,
us
was he
to
right.
decide.
Iron Man wasn't
You heard
just
that,
a
right?
hit. It launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's where you're wrong.
Over the next decade, Downey would become the face of one of the biggest
I'm gonna get back to
franchises
work.
in
See
movie
yourself out.
history.
You remember the door, right?
Tony Stark wasn't just a character. He was Robert Downey Jr., that perfect mix of arrogance, charm, intelligence, and vulnerability. That was all him. He didn't just act the part, he redefined it. Tony Stark became a pop culture icon, and RDJ became one of the highest paid, most beloved in real
retract
life.
that statement. I'd
He
like
was
to
doing
admit that.
press tours, inspiring fans,
God,
raising
I'm
money
gonna
for
get you back
charities,
home. I got 'em in
visiting sick
rotation, my
kids, the whole
pictures.
deal.
What do you
It
got?
was like he took
What
everything
do you
he
got? What's
learned
getting you
from
through the
his
cold nights,
past
huh?
and poured it into
Don't
being
ask,
the
don't
best
tell.
version of himself.
Jimmy met a goat.
He didn't hide his history. He
At least
embraced
it's
it.
a girl.
He
Okay?
turned
You
his
know what?
past into
That's
something
jealous.
powerful. That movie was wild. He played an Australian method actor who goes so far into character that he darkens his skin to play a black soldier. It was outrageous, controversial, and somehow, he pulled it off. He even got nominated for an Oscar for that role. That just shows how fearless he is as an actor. Not many people could have made that work. He's also used his success to help others. He's created production companies, backed smaller projects, and mentored younger actors. He's spoken openly about addiction and recovery, giving people hope that change is possible no matter how far you've fallen. So here's a guy who went from being practically blacklisted in Hollywood to becoming the highest paid actor in the world. And he earned every bit of it, not just with talent, but with heart, hard work, and a commitment to change.